Well, hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to volume 6 of our Gaelic Psalm singing workshops. So, if you're online now, if you could maybe send me a wee message so that I know that I'm actually live before I get going. I want to be doing this to myself. Adam, good evening, Adam. Hello, welcome to you all. Okay, I'm seeing we've got a few people. Marion, good evening, Marion. Nice to see you, right? Now, one of the things I was wanting to do right at the start, I keep forgetting to do it all the time, and that is to encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube. I'm going live at the moment on Facebook and on YouTube. So what I'm wanting to really do is to see if I can get my subscribers up. Because the good thing about YouTube is that you can look back very easily on all the videos. So we're up to volume 6 now. Now I think you can also do it on Facebook, but I find that YouTube is really handy for you to be able to just go onto YouTube and I'll show you. Let me just go on to where all my social bits and pieces are. So if you subscribe, my YouTube channel is Lame Music. And if you can just go on to that and subscribe, that would be really good. And also ring that bell so that anytime I put any other videos up, you'll be notified of that. Now on this page here, you've also got my email, which is callum@lamemusic.com. Now, last week, I invited people to do a recording of themselves singing Martyrdom. And I got 4 people sent me recordings of themselves. Now 3 of them I got Mark, David and Emily. Now Muriel, I know you sent me, I'm hoping that you're here tonight, that you sent me, and I saw a message on my phone, but I couldn't find where you'd sent the link. The easy way to do it is to actually send it through to my email address so that the whole idea of doing this is to really try and see if we can build up an online Gaelic psalm singing group and basically use the template of the Martyrdom tune. So right at the start, what I'm wanting to actually do is maybe show you, because let me go now. So hopefully people, I'll maybe come back to this later on right at the end, showing all my sort of social stuff. What I'm actually going to do just now is I'm going to play you Martyrdom. And if you remember what I actually said about all voices fitting in with the whole Gaelic psalm singing thing. And sometimes when you hear sort of voices in isolation, they might sound a wee bit out of tune, but the point that I've been saying all along is that Gaelic psalm singing can accommodate everyone, and it's the mixture of all the voices that makes it so special. And it was really funny when I'll play you. I hope Mark, David and Emily don't mind me doing it, because one thing about the 3 of them, their Gaelic was really good. But I'm also wanting to encourage people just to sing, and even if you don't have Gaelic, just to sing along, so that I can build up a group that we would maybe just call ourselves the online Gaelic psalm group or whatever. And even if you don't have Gaelic, I want you to sort of hum along to it so that we can build up an actual sound. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to play you the recording that we did of Martyrdom with the guide of where we actually recorded the original and the guide that you actually sang to. And what I've done is I've imported it into my music software, and I've taken out at certain points where the 3 singers are singing together. And then I'll pull them back in again, and you can see how. Let's see if I can find it. Right, here we go. Maybe you can hear this okay. Okay then, so what I've really done there is that's just three singers singing along with the recording. And I must confess, listening to it really brought back memories of my youth when pretty much in all the homes in our villages way back in the 60s, they used to have prayers morning and evening. And the standard of singing that some people would vary hugely. For example, in some homes that had really great singers, the singing, would be something that even people in certain villages would actually go out to listen to them actually singing. But the important thing here is that everyone would actually sing, regardless of whether they had great voices or not. And then when everyone then went together in church on Sunday, with 100 odd people or however much was in the congregation, and Stornoway would be even up to 1,000, then it would be the time where all the voices would mix in together. So I'm very keen to maybe again tonight do a similar thing where I'm going to actually play the Martyrdom psalm tune and maybe get more of you to actually do this. Because if this works, there's no reason why we can't end up doing this for other tunes, and hope that people will learn new tunes as we progress. I'm going to focus really again. Now this is our 6th week, so we've been focusing pretty much on Martyrdom and Kilmarnock, and I'm going to do that again tonight. But what I was thinking about was that maybe in the future, another sort of wee plug that I'm going to give tonight is I've got a new album out along with Craig Armstrong, and Marion was also on that, and some singers. And there it is there. And what we've actually got on this album is a brand new tune, Valentine. It's not one of the psalm tunes that's in the list. So if you're looking for something to buy, I think this would be an album that you really enjoy. It's a bit different. There is traditional Gaelic psalm singing on here, but there's also some instrumentation from strings on there. And one of the tunes that we've got is a new tune I wrote, and Craig put it together, an arrangement together of it called Valentine. And I think that would be a good tune to maybe work on, because that's a starting on an even playing ground for everyone, where there's people on here maybe tonight that know quite a lot of the tunes that we've got in the standard psalm singing. One of the things that I actually did that I thought would be worthwhile taking in tonight is the way that I would normally use a psalm book like this when I would be presenting in church. And what I've got in here in this particular psalm book, my own settings of the tunes. See if I can find where they are. Yeah. So this is the sort of thing that I've got. Let me see where we are. Yeah. So what this is 24 main tunes that are used, and with sort of psalms. So once I actually go in here, let's go into the psalm book itself. For example, there's a psalm, and if this was a psalm that was being sung on verse 3, I would go New London. Okay, so New London, Tochuach, and that's always a good way of learning it. And a lot of people would do that. They would reference the tune to an actual psalm. so that, and that's another way to learn the tunes, is to think of a psalm, learn a tune for a psalm. And that was pretty much the way that I maybe started learning them. I would start off with a tune, and I would think about a psalm. All I have to do is think about the psalm, and a tune will come to me. Okay, so has anyone got any questions? So let's see, we've got a nice group here again tonight, just under 50. And is there any questions that anyone has? Because I don't want to keep going on and then find that I'm losing some. Is there anything particularly that you'd want me to focus on? Because one of the things that I've looked at and people have been in touch with me is that I'll probably be doing some other Gaelic psalm workshops where the focus might be on something different, and hopefully people would get access to it. I've got two groups that have been in touch with me wanting me to do some psalm singing, one of them being completely in Gaelic, and that's absolutely fine. I'm happy enough to do that. And one group that are wanting me to maybe spend 10 weeks working on a different tune every night. And like I said, we could, even on this platform here, have different groups that we would have each week, like a learner group, and then an intermediate group and a more advanced group where we would learn maybe how to actually present. So has anyone got any questions at all? Am I coming through reasonably loud and clear? And are you quite happy? Anyone got any questions at all before I carry on and maybe do some more? I think maybe I can actually go back to Kilmarnock again. Kate says learner group would be great. I think that, yeah, that's definitely something that that we could certainly consider. So seeing we're just about 50 people here, and out of the 50 that we had last week, I only had 4 that actually sent themselves singing. Let me give you another opportunity before we do anything else to pre-warn you, and maybe we'll just play Martyrdom again, and maybe you can actually do a recording of it, and anyone that didn't manage to get it this time, we would do it again before the end. So are you ready then? So what I'm wanting you to do is, when I play Martyrdom, the recording that we did in the town hall with Murdo MacLeod presenting, want you to sing along with it. And at the moment I've got 3 singers that have done that, Mark, David and Emily. And if Muriel could send her recordings again through to me and maybe start building up and maybe get another 5 or 6 this week, even more would be great. I can then add my voice to it and maybe get someone else to add so that we can build up. And each week I will do a recording and compare it and mix it in with the original so that you can get an idea. I know it's not as great as being in the same room together so that you can feel what it is, but I guess it's the closest that we can come to it in this situation. So let me now play Martyrdom for you. Okay then. So I'm hoping that you managed to at least sing part of it. It doesn't have to be all of it, because what I can do is I can slot it in, even maybe one line. The other thing that I was just thinking about today, which might be quite interesting, if you don't feel as if you're quite at the point where you want to be able to add all the grace notes to it, you could just maybe stick to the actual notes themselves and sing them really slowly. So in other words, instead of singing, so instead of singing you could just sing Giantro. Okay, so that you're not adding any grace notes to it. But eventually, I think you're going to find it very, very hard not to even add a couple of grace notes. Now, some people will add a lot of grace notes, and others might only add one or two grace notes, just depending on how they feel. And the other thing that came across very clearly with the three singers that sang the recordings is that their timing was really out, which is great because that's what we're actually looking for. We're looking for the timing to be slightly off with everyone else. And then I think with Emily, her voice, you could actually, I sort of put it down in the mix a wee bit, but whenever you're in a congregation, or whenever we were in congregations of our youth, usually you would hear a female singer whose voice was maybe slightly louder, and that adds to the mixture as well. That really does add to the mixture. Okay, so Daveen's got the words up. So I can put the words up to suit you. And I think, is anyone wanting me to go over the melody again? Or have you got the melody pretty much okay? Anyone wanting me to go over the melody of Martyrdom again? Fescar Ma, Catherine, Fescar Ma. Or are you quite happy? Because I think it's important for everyone to have the basic melody in their heads, the bare bones of the melody. Da 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 da. Okay, so da 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 da. Da 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 da, Giantro che dorom gachre adanetse amanum trug akudagai kuler. Giantro che dorom, Giantro che dorom, or Gianetro che dorom. Okay, let me play the other version that we've got of it. Okay, so that was in a different pitch. It was quite a high pitch, but it's still exactly the same melody. Okay, now Chrissy's asked me to put a wee revision on Kilmarnock, which I'm happy to do. And the words that we have on Kilmarnock is Dochwith me romance gach. So let me just go over the music to Kilmarnock first. In fact, let me play it. Okay, so da 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 da. Let me remind myself. Okay, let me just do it with the Gaelic. Dochus mi roa mouns gachkush anji arn mor angra Hjon mo yes life guvele chagluasher mi gubrach. Okay, let's slow it right down. Dochur mi so that's Gaelic, and the melodies Dachur miro amouns gachkush. And you know, when you actually put them side by side, it's very easy to understand how people can find them almost like two different tunes, but they're not. They are the signpost notes that appear in it. So Gaelic, Dochur miro maun skakush. And let's do it normally. Dochur miro amouns gachkush. Okay, now let me play the Gaelic, and I will try and pinpoint the notes as they're coming to them. The center, line 3. Here we go. Okay then, so I'm happy to end up doing these two tunes together. Or would you find it easier for me to just concentrate on just one tune? Because I found, you know, in most workshops I've done that a lot of people like to actually work on two tunes so that there's a bit of variety on them. And that's why I'm really keen to end up getting both Kilmarnock and Martyrdom sort of sorted out before we move on to anything else. Anyone got any other questions? What key is it for recording? Daveen's asking, are you talking, Daveen, about what key is the actual recordings in, or what key is the music in? Because what we've got here in Martyrdom is we've got Martyrdom sung in two different keys. With regard to the key for Martyrdom there, that's the key that is written in for 4-part harmony, and that's G, okay? But then, like I mentioned, Gaelic psalm singing seems to work really well, going up a tone above what's written in the SATB or the Scottish Psalter setting. And in the case of that second recording that I did, the one that's really high, it's actually up in C, which is really, really high. Gaelic psalm singing is set for sopranos and tenors to work at its best. And that means really going up to a high note, usually up to about F sharp, maybe G, which is really high, and pitching it to about that level with regard to Gaelic psalm singing. So yeah, the key, again, another thing I mentioned probably before, I'm not sure if I have, but the other thing that you have in Gaelic psalm singing is when the presenter does not pitch it, he's got to. Okay, Daveen, I'm going to give you another shot at it. She says that she couldn't get the recording in on time, so happy to do it later if I can. The other thing that you can actually do is you can go back on this recording, because this will go up after we're finished onto YouTube and also onto Facebook. So you can go back and listen to the recording again and send it to me. There's no problem. You don't have to do it live just now. The reason why I'm keen on keeping the Gaelic Psalm workshops live, I could record them, pre-record them, but I like the connection, live connection that I have with you, because it's the only way really that people can tell me what they want. And I think it's much better for people to be able to connect live anyway, mistakes and all, rough voices and all, it doesn't really matter. So I think what all of you can actually do is, let me sort of wind down now, because I'm wanting to keep these workshops to about half an hour, because it's a lot of stuff to take in. And it's easy for me to actually do it because I've been brought up with it and know all this, and there's others that probably are as well. But I'm wanting to give it to you in sort of half-hour bite-sized sort of chunks of workshops. So we're now up to volume 6. So anyone who wants to go back and re-look at them again, they can go back. They can certainly go onto YouTube, and you'll see them all on YouTube on my YouTube channel. Where we are, YouTube Lame Music, and probably you'll find them on Facebook as well. And you can just go back and check now. The volume 1 that I did, right at the start, it goes on for about an hour and speaks a fair bit about the history of Gaelic psalm singing. And, you know, then we sort of decided to keep it to about half an hour or 35, 40 minutes. Alistair, how many tunes would an average presenter use? Yeah, well, that's an interesting one, Alistair. I mean, there are 24 tunes that are in use that I can do myself. Other people might know less than that. In a Gaelic service, you will have 3 psalms, and usually you would want to have a different tune to each of the psalms. So that would be 3 tunes. And the reality is that a lot of people will do their favourites. In fact, some people will actually do their favourites more than once in the same sermon. The amount of tunes that the average presenter, I would say the average presenter probably knows about, you know, maybe 10 tunes at a push, maybe even some less than that. And there are some that know a lot more. I mean, I just went out of my way to learn them all because that's the musician side of me. I just wanted to learn, and I'm happy in future workshops to teach people how I learned how to do them. Like I mentioned, I tied tunes together and sort of worked out that quite a few tunes start off with the first 2 or 3 notes being very similar, and then the fourth note changes. So once you learn, for example, how Evan goes, do, 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 that's the first 4 notes in Evan. Then all you need to do is think of the fourth note altering for Glencairn. So Glencairn goes, do, 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 do. What's Lila saying? What about improvising into song during that? Are you talking about the way the black people over in America do? If the preacher's going on a wee bit too long, someone will start singing. And that sort of gives a hint to the preacher. You've gone on a wee bit too long. That would be I think that would be a good idea, to actually start and leave people to actually, if the minister's going on, the sermon's going on a wee bit too long, someone stands up and starts singing a Gaelic psalm. Yeah, that would be good. So that's an example, and that's one of the ways that I actually learned them. I would link 2 tunes together. For example, there you are, Evan, Glencairn, and then you could have another 2 tunes that are similar. Let me think now, what example could I give you? Free Church and New London. New London would go da 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 da, right? Free Church goes da 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 da. So there you've got 4 tunes that you could use. You've got Evan, Glencairn, and you've got New London, and you've got New London, and you've got Free Church. And then there's quite a few tunes that start off with 2 notes. The first 2 notes are exactly the same. Moravia, da 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 da. The first 2 notes, da 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 da. And then there's another tune called Coleshill, starts off with 2 notes exactly the same. Marion, are you saying Montrose and Stornoway? That you like both of them? Montrose, Stornoway, yeah, they're very similar. Although Montrose, Montrose is slightly different. Yeah, Stornoway is a minor mode tune, but you know that's the way to actually to learn them. Moravia, and then Coleshill, let's see how similar Montrose is to Stornoway. Montrose would go Stornoway. Okay, so I mean everyone's got their favorites. And the thing about it is we could spend absolute ages enjoying ourselves doing different tunes. So as I say, there's 24 that I know of, maybe a few others as well. Barrow, some of the tunes that were taught down in back, like St Kilda, not really used very often. Stracathro's another one. You could really make any of these tunes into Gaelic psalms. I'm surprised no one has come up with doing Bezo Harris, but I'm sure that could probably work as well. So let me finish off this evening by giving you another wee shot at martyrdom. So what I'm wanting you to do is, and it would be great if you did, sometime during the week, send me a recording of yourselves. Torwood, Alistair likes Torwood. Yeah, now Torwood is an interesting one. The thing to think about with Torwood is you start off with the highest note. Da, 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 da. So you think high note first. Da, 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 da. So that's just wee things like that are good. A lot of people that know all the tunes, they'll say to you, I don't really know the tunes, but as soon as you start singing it, I know it. So, Gaelic, yeah, Kate, worthwhile. That's a nice tune as well. But one of the things that hopefully we'll do in the future is the tune that we have got on this album here, okay, Valentine. That's a tune that I composed for this. If you get a chance, it's worthwhile buying this album because there's some really great singing on there and it's different, but I'm hoping that people will recognize the fact that we have kept pretty much to our own. We haven't moved away. It's very traditional and the instrumental accompaniment is very sympathetic. It's really good. Barbara's talking about Crimond. Yeah, I haven't heard Crimond being done in Gaelic, but that's another option. The other thing I really like this album cover. The designer over in Germany did a great job of the old picture of Lewis and Harris together there in the petals or whatever it's called. So let's finish off by singing Martyrdom. Now I'm wanting my cousin over in Canada who's keen on doing Crimond because she's got a great voice, Barbara Moffat McLean, my first cousin. Lovely to see you, Barbara. Right, so I'm going to end up playing Martyrdom, okay? And I want you to try and record it with you singing it. You don't have to sing it all, and you don't even have to sing the Gaelic either. If your Gaelic is not strong, you can hum it or you can actually do it like that. Sing along. I'm now got what have I got in my head? Coleshill in my head. Okay, we're not wanting that in our heads. We're wanting to put this one in that. Gian Trog. So so I'm not singing the actual words. So something like that. Let's do it. Here we go. Okay, if you can manage to sing a wee bit to that. Catherine Fraser. Soprano rules. It certainly does in Gaelic psalm singing. The poor altos, they have to end up singing an octave lower. But Gaelic psalms are pitched really for sopranos and tenors. Just because you've got to reach these high notes. Because if you sing it really, really low, it just loses something. Thanks very much for joining me once again. I really enjoy these evenings together, even though I'm on my own here. And it's good for you to send messages. Feel free to get in touch with me anytime during the week. Let me put all my bits and pieces up here again. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. The rest of the stuff, it's all social stuff anyway. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And then over on the other side, we've got my email. So, hula bianach gai vula, till we meet again, God willing, next Tuesday. And if anyone's got any questions or anything they would want to know, just send me an email, any suggestions. I'm hoping that maybe we'll see how it goes next week. It'd be really good for me to maybe take Balanan along with me so the two of us could actually together sing for you, so that you could see how two different people would sing Martyrdom and Kilmarnock. I think we'll stick to Martyrdom and Kilmarnock for the moment anyway, before moving on. And then maybe what we can do is we can move on to presenting lines, how two different presenters would do Martyrdom and Kilmarnock. So until we meet again, stay safe and hula bianach. Bye.